All right, Shalom. All praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, Rakaha Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and peace and salutation unto the hopeful elect. So this is a funny clip that was sent to me. But, through the spirit, there are younger brothers, they're, watching these videos and, don't necessarily know, how we should approach some of these things, as far as marriage is concerned, because ultimately, we are seeking to be married unto Yahweh by Shemiah Shai. That is the ultimate marriage. Here in this society, Esau, the so-called white man, has created essentially a snare, for our people, because clearly our women are not virgins, and the whole marriage system in itself is really just a legal scheme to get you in a financial burden. But with that being said, there are ways in which the scriptures prescribe for you, for us, if we so choose to have a woman, to actually utilize that. But yeah, I mean, this clip was kind of funny, but it's definitely very real and very true. Some of the snares that actually come about, from being with women, in a legal sense, and like I said, to each man his own, as far as what he does with his woman. But, of course, wisdom of the Holy Scriptures tells us, just to be circumspect in all things, especially when it comes to, doing this ministry and, the time allocation and really, how, women will kind of drain you of your time. But if you're able to balance it, and she, as scripture says, she's pleased to live with you, knowing that your focal point is Yahweh by Shemiah Shai in the ministry. And even if she doesn't know that, just her being able to stick around and, understand that, she doesn't come first, which a lot of women want in this society. If she's able to, understand that and, allow you the freedom in which you need, to be a man, then, hey, so be it, So I'm going to play part of this clip, but let me start here first with 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 23. It says, ye are bought with a price, be not ye the servants of men. Okay, so right then and there, that goes to show you that we were bought by Yahushua's blood, his sacrifice. Okay, and it says, be not ye the servants of men. And, ultimately, if you get into these, legal contracts with, women, that's how you fall into, alimony and, $50,000 in child support debt and, all the rest of these other things in which the system is really geared towards, making you a servant, of this system. OK, it says, brethren, verse 24, brethren, let every man wherein he is called therein abide with Yahweh. Now concerning virgins, I have no commandment of the Lord, yet I give my judgment as one that hath obtained mercy of the Lord to be faithful. I suppose, therefore, that this is good for the present distress. I say that it is good for a man so to be. Verse 27, art thou bound unto a wife? Seek not to be loosed. So once again, if you're in a, strong relationship and it's thriving and, she's doing well by you, what I'm saying? Don't seek to, just drop her just because, you're listening to lessons and, you're now coming into the ministry and you're understanding who you are as an Israelite. OK, continue to, build that relationship as strong as it can be. It says, art thou bound unto a wife? Seek not to be loosed. Art thou loosed from a wife? Seek not a wife. Now that doesn't mean, don't try to, get with a woman, if she's giving you the play, then, make moves. But at the same time, too, like I said, it's just like what is often talked about, in business. You want to keep the main thing. And the main thing is salvation and deliverance, through Yahweh Shai. OK, verse 28. This is 1 Corinthians 7 and 28. It says, but and if thou marry, if you have sex, OK, because really that is what marrying is, the two becoming one flesh. OK, it's not this ceremony in which you see here before you. All of these things are just snares and, more for the woman. Clearly, that's why they spend, all of this money on dresses and all that stuff, for one day. And the man essentially goes bankrupt. Never did understand that. But anyway, it says, but and if thou marry, thou hast not sinned. And if a virgin marry, she hath not sinned. Nevertheless, such shall have trouble in the flesh, but I spare you. So once again, two personalities, two spirits that are joining together. One, which is I, is on Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and the other, whose eye is, practically on the world. Those are going to have trouble in the flesh, but that's where the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, really, and, the man really taking more of a role of responsibility and making sure that, that he is ruling his emotions, helps, in those situations where the woman is not able to, rule hers. But ultimately, there's going to be some difficulty in the flesh, and this is the point here in verse 29, 1 Corinthians 7:29. It says, but this I say, brethren, that the time is short, it remaineth that both they that have wives, be as though they had none. And really that's more of a mental and spiritual, type of aspect, to where you're just not moved at every situation that comes about, with dealing with wives, if you do have a wife. And like I said, the main focus is on Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And that way, as the time is drawing near, really, as scripture says, that a woman is going to be saved, by childbearing and by her husband. So ultimately, her best bet is you. And so your best bet is making sure that you keep the main thing, your eye focused and single on Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and, acting as if she's not there in certain situations, just not reacting all the time just because, she has a bobo, or, it's just like a little child, sometimes you just got to let the child, cry for a while until they fall asleep, and then they wake up in the morning and they're playful and they're joyful and all the rest of that kind of stuff. Okay. So, actually let's play the video here, and then I'm gonna bring out a handful of other scriptures and I'm gonna wrap up.
I, Danielle, take you, Zeus, to be my lawfully wedded financial supporter. I vow to stress you the fuck out and eat off your plate for the rest of our lives. I will go through your phone in sickness and in health and accuse you of cheating whether I have found proof or not. I promise to gain weight and let myself go until you no longer want to stick your penis inside of me. When times get rough between us, I will complain more and listen less, never pray about it, and make us both look stupid by airing all of our business on Facebook. And even though I got pregnant on purpose to trap you into marrying me, I still won't tell you about all the guys I let slut me out. I vow to love you for the rest of my life and never, ever leave you. As long as you don't lose your good-paying job with benefits, or I'll leave you for someone with good dick and money. I love you.
So, I mean, like I said, it was more funny than anything.
Hi, Danielle.
It was more funny than anything, because, a lot of those words can very much be true, especially here in this society. Everything's geared towards the woman and her really, ruling over the man. And we know, according to scriptures, that is unlawful, and so, like I said, just, take heed to the warning. If you're dwelling with a woman, and she is pleased, to dwell with you, then, hey, so be it. You know what I mean? Make the best of it. But, also, don't get into any of these contracts and, covenants with these women if you can, and part of that is because of this scripture right here. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse, let's start at 25. It says, I applied mine heart to know and to search and to seek out wisdom and the reason of things, and to know the wickedness of folly, even of foolishness and madness. And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets. And the word heart goes back to her mind. Snares and nets, and her hands as bands. Whoso pleaseth Yahweh shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. And so there's nothing wrong if you're taken by a woman, but just understand that, there's going to be trouble in the flesh. That's all this lesson is really geared towards, is more awareness and a better perspective, from, men that are further down the road, especially King Solomon, who had, plenty of women. So he has the most experience, as far as I'm concerned, with dealing with women. Let's bring out one more. This is First Ezra chapter 4, verse 26. It says, yep. It says, yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women and become servants for their sakes. So that's why when I read in First Corinthians chapter 7, verse 23, it says, ye are bought with a price, be ye not the servants of men, And so ultimately, any of the captivities in which we've been in, those are the things that befell us because we were not doing what we needed to as far as being obedient unto Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So henceforth, Yahweh Shem Yahushua made us servants of men, ultimately here in this society in Babylon, but then even under, women, scripture says, I will create a new thing in the earth. A woman shall encompass some men, and so that means that they are going to surpass us. They're going to be, more sought after in, positions and work. And, she's going to come home from work and, she's just going to, have them flared nostrils and, twisting her neck and, all of that stuff, man. So, ultimately, as scripture says, there be many that have run out of their wits for women and become servants for their sake. It says, verse 27, First Ezra 4 and 27, many also have perished, have erred and sinned for women, and you go back and you look in this video, Jake, a lot of our, men have been, raised by women and taught, to worship and adore women. And, you get to this point in your life where, the man has been taken out of the household and, a quick plug, Lord willing, I have a series I'm going to start here in the next couple of weeks as I'm finishing up some information about how and why Esau, the so-called white man, knew in order to actually have complete control, he had to take the man out of the household. And so with us being raised, a lot of us being raised, without having a male in the household, essentially we, Jake grow to this position where, you get on bending knee and, you worship the woman and, now you are surpassed by that queen of heaven spirit. And, what happens is you lose all respect from her. And now what she's really telling you is like, I'm going to do whatever I want because now I have this legal contract, this snare, this band, OK, that is going to bind me to you. And if at any given time, as she said towards the latter part of the video, you lose your job or you're not providing, those finances and the lifestyle in which I'm looking for, she can just, go and get a divorce, which is against the scriptures as well, because a man is the only one that can actually write a bill of divorce. But, nevertheless, she'll do those things and really just continue to, take your money. So anyway, let's play this one more time real quick.
Found proof or not, I promise to gain weight and let myself go until you no longer want to stick your penis inside of me. When times get rough between us, I will complain more and listen less. Never pray about it. And
she said, never pray about it. You know what I mean? And so, like I said, this is more of, like I said, an awareness video. Lord willing, it is edifying just from the sake of understanding perspective. And, as scripture says, I'm going to read it again. This is back in First Corinthians 7 and 29. It says, but this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none, so just, prioritizing more than anything, the ministry in itself, is at the focal point, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, the brethren. OK, and then, yourself, because I think sometimes brothers forget, you have to have some self-care yourself, and, then comes your woman. And, your seeds and your children and things of that sort. That's my interpretation of what the scriptures say. Of course, there are there are scriptures that talk about, how, of course, that the head of man is Yahweh Shem Yahushua, but the head of the woman is what? The man. So that in itself gives you kind of a framework, but just, more in a realistic, practical sense. The Akim in themselves are more important, than your woman, because that's where you actually get rejuvenated through the spirit, to where you can actually continue this fight, of faith. So, couple more scriptures here real quick. This is, So let's get to this, because, on the flip side of that, the woman whose heart is snares and bands. This kind of gives a better understanding of what, we should be looking for, what, attracts us, as men, towards a woman. Now, of course, this is going to be far and few between, but it just gives you a better perspective of how, our women should be. And if there are any of these attributes in which, women have, hey, it's a better situation than, dealing with some of these unruly women. This is 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 9. It says, in like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broidered hair or gold or pearls or costly array, but which becometh women professing godliness with good works. Let the woman learn in silence and with all subjection, But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over a man, but to be in silence, And so, actually, I'll read down verse 13. It says, for Adam was first formed, then Eve. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith and charity and holiness with sobriety. So, now this is a, perfect case scenario. I wouldn't use this as a, full metric, of what you're looking for from a woman. But if she has any of these traits as far as, being modest, or, shamefacedness, or, she doesn't drink a lot, or she's not just, excessively into jewelry, or, she just doesn't pop off, and, she actually brings you a level of peace. I say roll with it. You know what I mean? Because for the most part, the hypnotism, that slumber, that wine, in which Esau, the so-called white man, is pushing, towards our people and the media and the TV and all of these things are really just going to keep, our women's minds distracted. So, once again, this is just more of an account of, kind of what to look for, and, if, you actually have the time and the capacity, or, you can be as one that doesn't have a woman, and, you can take that approach as well. So last verse here, this is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 26 and 15. Let me see if I can pull up the whole thing here real quick. I'll read the verse. It says, a shamefaced and faithful woman is a double grace, and her continent mind cannot be valued, So that goes to show you that those are the things in which, honestly, we're going to have, multiple women in the kingdom that have these characteristics. But, while here on this side, it's just going to be, more of a, you're going to have to look up on that. And if you do, cherish it, value it as much as you possibly can. But, just also just having the balance of knowing that, we are the woman of, Yahweh Shai, of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. And that in itself is, where our time and our devotion lies. And, your woman, she should be right there by your side, but if not, then, we understand, there's things you're going to lose, while in this ministry. And, if the Lord take it, he can also giveth, right? So let's read. I want to read a little bit up here. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 26. And because this whole chapter goes into, scenarios of, what a woman is. Let's start here at 13. That way I'm speaking more so to the, the better attributes of a woman, because we know ultimately, she was the one that was in transgression, and we know that she's the weaker vessel, so it takes a little bit more grace and mercy, dealing with women. And that's something that has to be practiced, and there's no account of how to actually practice those things. But anyway, this is verse 13. It says, the grace of a wife delighteth her husband, and her discretion will fatten his bones. So her being discreet, her being, shamefaced it, not, out and about, running as a hooligan. Those are the things that bring fatness to his bones, which is more strength and more stability and more security. Verse 14, it says, a silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord, and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. Okay. And then it goes right back into verse 15. It says, a shamefaced and faithful woman is a double grace, and her continent mind cannot be valued. And then, of course, all women, jump to Proverbs, the 31st chapter. And well, who can find a virtuous woman? Well, yeah, look, let me know when you find one. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. I just, like I said, I thought that this was pretty hilarious just from the perspective of it was very truthful in my opinion. But, the scriptures do support a lot of these snares and bands in which, women present. And so, it's just utilizing wisdom, knowing that the time is short, knowing that we're at the end of Babylon, its rulership, and that, our focus more so is on deliverance and more so on Yahweh Shem Yahushua, making sure that we are prepared, for our wedding, towards the bridegroom being Yahushua versus, dealing with these situations of a, carnal wedding. So I'm gonna play the rest of this, and Lord willing, you brothers will edify. Until next time, shalom.
Make us both look stupid by airing all of our business on Facebook. And even though I got pregnant on purpose to trap you into marrying me, I still won't tell you about all the guys I let slut me out. I vow to love you for the rest of my life and never, ever leave you. As long as you don't lose your good-paying job with benefits, or I'll leave you for someone with good dick and money. I love you.
Shalom.